Have you ever had a memory from your childhood that you just couldn't place? By that, I mean a memory from your childhood that feels more like a dream or something you saw on TV. That kind of worked its way into your memory banks until you thought it happened for real. I know that might sound confusing, so here's a better example. One of my friends used to swear that one time when they were a kid, they quite literally flew up the stairs. Me and a mutual just about died laughing when she told us, and we poked and prodded the story until we figured out a much more believable version of the truth. She didn't fly up the stairs. She was just super tired one night, and her mom or dad carried her to bed. But because she was half asleep, it felt like she just floated up the stairs. Maybe being carried while unconscious somehow worked its way into an actual dream that she was having. My point is, it was like a false memory. A better example might be my cousin who swore her mom's hair salon used to be in a different spot. But it just felt that way because her perception of the world around her changed as she got older. Hopefully, I just didn't spend the past while sounding like a crazy person. And you or your people here might have their own examples of these sorts of false or glitchy memories. That way, I won't sound like I'm fresh out of the psych ward when I tell my own false memory story. Or at least the story of what I thought was a false memory. Okay, so for the longest time, I had this weird, obscure memory tucked away that I was pretty sure was just a dream or night that I had when I was a kid. I went to a birthday party, and at the birthday party, there was a cow taking a nap in the kids' front lawn. This cow wasn't just any old cow either. It was so stinky that it made me cry, and I had to go home. My mom was mad that our neighbors had been keeping a stinky cow, and I was so upset that I missed the party that I cried myself to sleep. I'd like to think that people can understand why I figured none of that had actually happened, but if you can't, let's just say that it seemed way too ridiculous a memory to be real. And that although I turned out to be wrong to have assumed so, I thought it was something I dreamed or imagined or whatever. But then as the years went by and my teens turned to my mid-20s and then to my early 30s, it was this bizarrely prevalent memory that never seemed to feel any less vivid. So one day, on a total whim, I asked my mom if she remembered taking me to a party where the family kept a cow. I expected her to just give me this look as if to say, "Are you crazy?" But instead, she gave me another one. This kind of look someone gives you when you stir up a memory that hasn't been thought about in years. Mom didn't laugh though. She didn't even smile when she recalled it. She just shook her head, sighed, and made some comment about how awful the whole thing was. As you can probably guess, my mind was completely blown by the news that this weird, fake but not fake memory had been real the entire time. And as you can probably also guess, I hounded her to tell me exactly what had happened from start to finish. So, first things first, it wasn't a birthday party, it was a Halloween party. But according to my mom, there really had been a cow. I was like 6 years old at the time, so I was walking hand in hand with my mom up this long driveway, which led to my friend's house. We live in the suburbs, so there were a lot of big houses like that. But the more we walked up the driveway, the more we started to smell this rotten stink from somewhere. Then, when the driveway finally curved around before opening up into the home's front yard, there it was. It was still daylight, and some kind of tarp or covering had sort of blown back, revealing the cow's back and top of its head. The way it was lying was kind of merciful, I guess, because it stopped me from seeing all the damage that had been done. But my mom saw it right away. She saw all the marks of blood, all the flies that were crawling all over this big old dead cow that was just lying there on their front lawn. She takes me up and away pretty much the moment she saw it, so only I caught a glimpse of a super stinky cow. But apparently, the smell was so bad and I was so disappointed not being able to go to the party that I sort of burst out into tears the moment she loaded me into the passenger seat of her car. It turns out that the birthday kid's parents had tried calling everyone to let them know that the party was canceled, but had apparently forgotten to let one set of parents know. For me personally, that was the last I heard of it. I don't remember it coming up at school or anything, and the party got rescheduled, so that made up for the disappointment, and I spent the rest of my life kind of half forgetting it all. But my mom remembered the weird aftermath of the whole thing. The family whose lawn the dead cow showed up on had no idea how it had gotten there, or at least they said they didn't know anything about it. They just woke up one day, and there it was, this big mutilated cow corpse on their front lawn. They said that it must have been dumped there overnight, and they were so freaked out that they called the cops, and the cops then told them the area was a potential crime scene, in which case the cow couldn't be moved, and the party would have to be canceled. But get this, the main reason why the cops treated it so seriously was that the cow obviously belonged to someone, and since they were expecting someone to make a criminal complaint, they started looking for evidence on who would do such a thing. From what my mom says, it was real fortunate that the cow was lying there the way it was, or I'd have seen that almost all of its body had been ripped up. Mom said it was like someone had lowered it into a shredder or something and then pulled it back out before its whole body could be torn apart. There were some livestock farms about 10 to 15 miles away, so it wasn't out of the question that a cow had escaped, wandered all the way towards Stapleton, and then gotten attacked by coyotes or something. But then the complaint came in. The farmer was out near Kimball, which was over 150 miles to the west. Cops confirmed when they matched up the serial numbers on the cow's tag. But then how the hell did a cow make it 150 plus miles overnight? There were rumors that there was some sort of cattle beef, no pun intended. And by that, I mean a disagreement between owners of cattle that had escalated to violence. And by then, the family whose lawn the cow had got dumped on had nothing to do with the livestock industry. And neither did they have any relatives in the industry either. To everyone's knowledge, no one in the neighborhood had any connection to the industry either. So people started to wonder if it was a case of mistaken address or something of that nature. A guy abducts a cow, hacks it up, and then dumps it on a lawn as a sort of warning, only they got the wrong lawn, and it caused a truckload of confusion. I guess because it happened on Halloween. That led to a bunch of dumb rumors about it being some kind of supernatural occurrence. You can pretty much guess the kind of things people blamed it on: UFOs, Wendigo, skinwalkers, you name it. But everyone figured that there had to be a logical explanation to it, and that the truth was probably just as gruesome and frightening as any kind of ghost or goblin. No one figured out exactly what happened, I guess because they didn't need to. The farmer could just make an insurance claim, the cops didn't have much to investigate, and everyone just moved on after a while. I guess it's just kind of crazy that all had became so remote to me that I didn't think it was actually real, especially when it's something that many people would never, ever forget.
I'm an icon, man. I'm a girl about a 10. I should fuck her in a bed.